Good afternoon. On behalf of the executive leadership team of the New York City Police Department, let me extend to all of you who are here in this beautiful church and to the thousands upon thousands who are standing in the rain and the wind outside. Thank you for joining with us in our hour of grief. Thank you certainly to the many political leaders who are here, to the many church leaders, many community leaders who stand with us day in and day out, to special guests from all around the world, police leaders from Australia, from New Zealand, the Commissioner of Australia, Commissioner of New Zealand, Kosovo, Abu Dhabi, who are here to celebrate with us the life of police officer Randolph Holder. What makes a police officer? Is it courage? Is it compassion? Is it the calling? I would say to you, it's all of these. All these things make a cop, but one thing most of all, we keep people safe. It's what we do. It's what Police Officer Randolph Holder did so proudly throughout his all too brief career. Keeping people safe is what brought Randy to the job. It's what brought him and his partner, Police Officer Omar Wallace, to a highway footbridge in pursuit of a dangerous man armed with a gun. They went there willingly, knowing the dangers, making a choice that keeping people safe was more important. It's what we do, and it's what they did. Why do we do it? Why did they do it? In this country, service is not a requirement. As a nation, we do not compel it. You can go through your life without doing anything for anyone other than yourself. Some people do. Not many, thankfully, but some. Many more live ordinary lives and offer help to others when they can, but they don't serve. Randy served. Cops serve. It's what we do. And for those who serve, for those who choose to place the lives of others above their own, the rewards are many. One of Randy's friends said he loved the job. It was what he wanted to do, being a cop. His dad was a cop. His grandfather was a cop. It was his family business. His reward was a life that mattered every day, a life of significance. I'm told that at PSA 5, as the mayor referenced, they call him the doc, or the doctor. They say he could memorize the faces in the neighborhood, routes they took, names and addresses. This was a useful talent for a housing cop, for any cop. Transit, patrol, housing. The job is the same, but the nuances differ. Ask any housing cop about the elevators, about vertical patrol, about the stairwells, about Pebble Beach. Ask about the thousands of good people in public housing who struggle with the handful of bad ones, the ones we must do a much better job of excluding from housing. Ask about the responsibility, keeping the many safe from the few. It's what we do. In 5 years at PSA 5, Randy had built a mental database. The good folks, the bad guys, the kids teetering on the edge between them. Like all cops, he was the balance between them, who lived as a guardian, watching over the good, and died as a warrior, fighting against the bad. Because being able to be both is part of what we do. His friend said Randy had the calm, smooth demeanor of a 15-year vet. No complaints against him, no disciplinary charges. He had courage, he had compassion, and this job was certainly his calling. There's been a lot of talk lately about whether public safety is slipping, about whether crime is moving up or down, about whether the anti-cop sentiment has made our work more dangerous, about whether cops are pulling back. The fact of the matter is, Policing is always dangerous and always potentially dangerous. Shootings, robberies, and murders in this city are near historic lows. But pockets of crime do remain in our city because there are evil people in this world. Most people avoid the evil ones at all costs if they can. As cops, we seek them out. Randy and his partner Omar knew what they were approaching that night: a shootout, a robbery, a man with a gun. They went towards that danger. They didn't pull back. Why? It's what we do. Randy's father and his grandfather before him were cops in their native Guyana. And when Randy's dad, Randolph, came here, he served as an auxiliary in the 101 precinct for a time. Because once you felt the pride of service, the satisfaction of helping others, and the meaning of keeping people safe, the calling, it's hard to stop. In Guyana or Harlem, it's what we do. In Guyana, Randy's father wore shield number 9657. He wore with such pride that it pushed Randy to follow his dad's example. When Randy was sworn in, we issued him Police Officer Shield 13340. He did it proud, just as he did his family proud, and his department proud, and our city proud. And for that today, I posthumously promote Police Officer Randolph Holder, Shield number 13340, to Detective First Grade, and issue him Shield 9657. The 9,000 series began a little less than a year ago with Detectives Ramos and Liu. It was a cast again for Detective Moore. I said then that I hoped we'd never see another. But as cops know, that's an idle hope. Why? Because of what we do. I'd also like to acknowledge Randy's partner, Police Officer Omar Wallace, for what he did. On that terrible night, he defended us, and he defended his partner. Even as he was engaged in the gun battle with the suspect, wounding him, Omar kept his head and followed his training. Radio and critical information that led directly to the suspect's capture. Imagine the moment. Your partner has just been shot. You're shooting back. At the same time, you're radioing for assistance. You're making the call that no cop ever wants to hear. Officer down. The choice, pursue or go back to your partner. Omar did it all that night. He is a hero. I'd like to think that Randy knew Omar's decision and was comforted by it. But when you're willing to risk everything, sometimes it will cost you everything. It's what we do. And now mourning is what we do as well. Randy's family at home will miss him. His family in Boole will miss him. He loved his family and friends, spanning 2 countries, Randolph, Princess, his brothers and sisters, and he loves you, Mary and Cian. I hope you can take some comfort in that. But no words of comfort offered by any of us today will pierce the veil of sorrow you all wear. But nonetheless, we will try with our words. We've chosen a life of service. It's what we do. Sometimes it can be hard for people who don't choose a life of service to understand us. At some point, every cop has gotten the question, why do you do it? Why do you want to be a cop? It certainly isn't for the long hours, the last-minute assignments, the missed holidays, the dangers. It isn't for the stress or the anxiety our loved ones feel every time we leave the home. It isn't for glory or recognition, which all too often comes only on days like this. The city, indeed this country, doesn't know its cops, oftentimes until it's too late. Because here in New York City, there are 35,000 Randy Holders. There are 35,000 Brian Moores, 35,000 Rafael Ramos, 35,000 Joe Lewis, 35,000 Michael Williamses, and 35,000 Dennis Guerras, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, immigrant. No one casually chooses a job that can end up here. We choose it because keeping people safe is worth it. Preventing crime and disorder is worth it. Being part of something that has improved millions of lives every day is worth it. And so we swear an oath and make a promise. Randy kept his promise to his family, to his department, and to himself. Cops like Randy know this job has risks. We accept it. But the risk we accept is that bad people do bad things. Not that the public will abandon us when bad things happen to bad people and we've acted lawfully. The sense that this can happen has always been there for cops. But it seems more pronounced now. And it's implied when people ask, why do you do it? In fact, sometimes we ask it of ourselves. Every new recruit must answer the same question as they come into our academy. Why did you become a police officer? They type out their responses and submit them to their academy instructors. Every recruit, including Randy Holder. This is what Randy Holder told us in his letter, July 10th, 2010. My name is Randolph Holder, born March 19th, 1982, in Georgetown, Guyana. Growing up, all I wanted to do was to make a difference in my community, to become a role model. In November of 2002, I migrated to the United States of America to live with Father. When I read this letter and I saw that term, to live with Father, I was struck with Father. Not my father, not my dad, not my pup, but Father. The respect, sir, that he must have had for you, the term Father denotes that. And I was just extraordinarily touched by that term in this letter. The love that he must have had for you. My first real job was working as a security officer. Most of the managers were retired NYPD officers, and they always talked a lot about how they changed their communities. That's when I decided I could be a role model and make a difference in my community and in New York. In December 2010, I will graduate from the NYPD Academy to become a police officer in the greatest police department in the world. For your information, Randolph Holder, probationary police officer. Randy, you are indeed a role model. You made a difference. You touched the lives, certainly, of your family, of your colleagues, the thousands upon thousands who are here today, your community, your city, and now your country. And from your loss, we can take this. We can change the fact that the city came to know you too late, because even though service is not compelled in this country, public safety is a shared responsibility. We all have to come together to help the good people and to get the evil people off the streets, to steer the kids on the precipice to the right side and not the wrong side. All of us, the shared responsibility to keep each other safe. It can't be just what cops do. It has to be what all of us do. And that will be a fitting legacy for Detective First Grade Randy Holder, Shield number 9657, who served us all. If we want to remember him and to honor him, coming together to finish his work is the way. It's what we all can do. It's what we all, community and police, need to do. It's our shared responsibility. So, Detective Randolph Holder, you are relieved of your duty as a New York City police officer, guardian at the gates of New York City, and we send you on your way to your new assignment to be a guardian angel at the gates of heaven.